Okay, good evening. I would like to welcome everyone to the regular scheduled city council meeting for Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. Let the record show that all councilors are present with the exception of Justin Faso and Councilor Hildebrand. To start with, we will do a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Adds and deletes. We have add consent agendas number 16, bids and quotes number 3B, department and committee reports number 4A. Could I ask, get approval of the agenda?
So moved.
We have a motion by Councilor Bayless.
Support.
Support by Councilor Schweberger. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll move on to approval of minutes. Approve the minutes of the Hibbing City Council meeting of October 2nd, 2024. Wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Councilor Hoffman-Sockman.
Support.
Support by Councilor Whitney. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 2, approve the minutes of the Hibbing City Council workshop of October 2nd, 2024. Wishes of the council.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Councilor Schweberger.
Support.
Support by Councilor Bayless. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Approve the accounts payable dated October 11, 2024. Checks number 178437 through 178544 in the amount of $1,028,218.55. 2, approve the city council approve the city payroll ending October 2nd, 2024 in the amount of $592,711.40. 3, authorize the hire of Landon Ryan for part-time community service officer position pending pre-employment contingencies. Or authorize the hire of Christian Waldvogel for the part-time community service officer position pending pre-employment contingencies. 5, authorize the hire of Alyssa Garcia for the full-time code enforcement supervisor pending pre-employment contingencies. 6, authorize the hire of Corey Nelson for full-time skilled labor position effective October 17th, 2024. 7, authorize the hire of Grace Bigelow for the temporary library aide position pending pre-employment contingencies. 8, authorize the hire of Lillian Nogel for the temporary library intern position pending pre-employment contingencies. 9, authorize the hire of Sarah Ronchetti for the temporary library aide position pending pre-employment conditions. 10, authorize promotion of Jeffrey Newman to Sergeant 2 effective 10/17/2024. 11, authorize promotion of Timothy Stoddy to Sergeant 2 effective 10/17/2024. 12, approve the renewal of the 2025 Northern Minnesota Dental Insurance Plan for active employees and retirees. 13, set the next regular Hibbing City Council meeting for Wednesday, November 6th, 2024 at 5 p.m. in the Hibbing City Hall Council Chambers. 14, set the next Hibbing City Council workshop meeting for Wednesday, November 6th, 2024, following the regular City Council meeting at 5 p.m. in the City Hall Council Chambers. 15, set the Hibbing City Council General Election Canvass meeting for Friday, November 15th, 2024 at 8 a.m. in the Hibbing City Hall Council Chamber. Date could change depending on St. Louis County's canvass date and time. 16, declare 6 snow plows, 2 truck cranes, 2 cable cranes, 1 concrete saw, 1 generator, and 1 anvil to surplus. Hearing all 16, wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read and published.
We have a motion by Councilor Hoffman-Sockman. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Councilor Whitney. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Anybody for public forum tonight, Candy? Nothing? Okay, with that, we'll move on. Department committee reports. First up is Community Development Director, Ms. Sullivanti. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item I have here in this particular portion of the agenda is to receive and file the Highland Hills presentation and first community engagement report. In council chambers tonight, I do have Bob Streeter with me to present the engagement that was received and talk to you all about what the next steps look like from here. Also in your packet was the entire presentation that was presented to the community during those 2 evenings of the presentation, and any emails or phone calls or those sorts of things that I've received since then and forwarded on to our consultant to be included in this first report out from the community engagement. I want to note one thing, that the project page is still being developed. I do not have a date on that yet, but I probably will receive one soon, and I will update you on when that project page will be out there. I do know that that was one other item that the community has been requesting, so I wanted to make sure that I address that right up front. So if there's anything that folks want from this presentation as they're watching tonight, either in council chambers or online, they can feel free to email me and I can send them that presentation at any point. But soon it will all be up on the project page. So then I'm going to turn the podium over here to Mr. Streeter to present all of the engagement information. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Strader.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I'm going to take a few minutes and just review what occurred on the 24th and 25th of September with regards to community engagement. So if you recall, this planning process has 4 steps. It's to provide background on the site, and you get this map. You look at this map, this is a aerial of the site we're talking about. There are 6 parcels, probably around 65 acres at the top of Highland Park Drive. And that's the area for which we're planning. So on the 24th and 25th, there were 2 community engagement meetings. The participants saw a presentation and received all of the information that we have on this site, the opportunities, the constraints. So I think an important picture to show is this site, while it may be 65 acres, in reality, given the steepness of some of the areas within the site, the developable area is probably in the neighborhood of 35. So this just gives you an example of where the steep areas are, where the easements are. So on the 24th and 25th, all the participants, of which there were 51 that actually did the sign-in sheet, there were probably closer to 80 people that participated in both nights. They got a copy, or they saw this presentation. The other thing they did on the 24th and 25th is they had extensive opportunities to share their hopes and concerns, and also what they envisioned the development of this area would look like in 10 years. So what I'd like to do is touch on briefly what we received in terms of engagement. Now in your packet, you have this document that lists it transcribes every written comment that we received, both on the postcards as well as the big white sheets of paper. So if you recall, on that evening, residents were asked to break up into tables of 5 or 6. They were given a map, and they were asked to discuss among themselves and then put on this piece of paper what their issues, concerns, and hopes were. The other exercise that they participated in was there was a postcard that said, "Hello, Hibbing." It was really to answer 2 questions. One is, what are your hopes and concerns for this site, and what would you think it looks like? What do you think it will look like in 10 years? What makes an attractive neighborhood? So in the hopes and concerns exercise, there were over, I think, 108 specific comments. So in this document, on that first exercise, we took those comments and we grouped them by themes. So if you look in your packet, you will see beginning on page 7, of those 108 comments, they were grouped into themes: traffic and access, housing and development. And then there were questions. These weren't necessarily comments about hopes and concerns, but they were questions that they had. So a couple of things I want to point out. Some of the most important feedback that evening was traffic and access. That was probably the #1 piece of feedback that we received. So how are cars going to come in and out of the new neighborhood? What will be the access point? What will be the impact of new traffic? A second concern was there's a lot of open space that people use. So what's going to be the impact to the trees, to the nature, to the ability to walk their dog and hike? Another concern was the impact of housing. Where's it going to be? Is there going to be a buffer between the housing and the existing housing? One of the important questions was, well, how many units? And I think we can say today that there'll likely be somewhere between 30 and 50 housing, single-family homes up there. And just to reiterate that there's a deed restriction on all this property. So the only thing that can be constructed are single-family detached homes, housing. That's it. There's no multifamily, there's no institutional, there's no commercial, there's no apartments. It's single-family detached housing. Some of the other feedback that we did receive, two others, was why here? And there were suggestions or recommendations for other areas within Hibbing that this development could go. And then one that I always find interesting is comments related to the development. So there were some comments about stormwater pooling on, I think, 8th Avenue. And the residents there would like that addressed. That's kind of the major themes for the hopes and concerns exercise. With regard to the Hello Hibbing exercise, where people were asked what makes an attractive neighborhood and how do you envision this in the future, those comments are also grouped by theme. And if you look, I think it's on page 13. Oh, one before that. Maybe it's after. On page, it's the last page, page 16. They're grouped by themes into parks and green space, trails, trees, safety, roads and access, park amenities, how it feels, and then what folks are hoping with regards to homes and development. A couple things there, or let's preserve or improve the green space, the wooded area, the cleanliness. Somebody mentioned flowers. They really liked pedestrian access trails. They want to be able to walk, continue to walk. Another one was let's ensure traffic doesn't become a problem. Another one was let's try to create some programming where there's activities for families. And a really important one that I found was let's try to create this new neighborhood that is seamless. It's an extension of the existing neighborhood, not something that just sits next to it. And then there were a variety of adjectives used for feel. So folks talked about community. They liked the quiet, the privacy, the fact that it's secluded, it's beautiful, it's desirable. So these are just all adjectives that residents use to describe how they feel now, but in how they live there and how they'd like to continue to feel. So all of this engagement, all of this feedback, you have to use to create a vision and goal statement about what this area will become and how will it look and how it will function. So if you recall, in crafting the vision and the goal statement, there's kind of three big buckets of information. It's the market, what kind of demand, housing demand can be met. Well, we know it's going to be single family. Number two is the site creates some opportunities and some constraints. So you have a water tower there. So I'm going to guess the front of the houses aren't going to face the water tower. Also, you have steep sides. So those are constraints, but you have a wide open space. You've got wonderful views. That's an opportunity. So the sites and constraints will also influence the vision and goal statement. And then the last one is the feedback you got from the community. So those three pots of information you use to create a vision and goal statement that we use then to create design alternatives. And then we're going to come back with that and we're going to say, how do these designs reflect what you said the vision and the goals be? And then it's a discussion about tweaking and modifying and can we look at this, can we look at that? Nothing's really off the table. So what we typically do is we're going to take the information we have and we'll do a draft vision and goal statement and we'll give it to you. So you've got something to work off of. So we're going to use the same information to create a draft. And when we meet, I think tentatively November 16th, that begin this discussion, we'll give you a draft, you'll get it ahead of time. And then at that meeting, you'll take all the information that you have, along with all the things you're hearing directly, and we'll begin to create a vision and goal statement. And then that vision and goal statement will take back to develop 2 or 3 design alternatives. And then we'll work through that process. So at the end, hopefully, all the important issues and concerns will have been addressed or at least answered about why this design and not that design. So with that, Mayor and Council, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Streeter. At this time, if anybody, council, have any questions, I think you've explained pretty much what your process will be moving forward to us. I enjoyed, I was at both of those meetings that you had. There was a lot of questions there that we were addressing. So there definitely was, as you mentioned, involvement by residents and concerns in both ways. So any other questions? Okay, we don't at this time. Yes.
I stand corrected. It's November 20th, 16th, November 20th.
Okay.
So, great. Thank you very much.
Very good. I appreciate the information you compiled and look forward to our next meeting. At this time, we'll move on to City Service Director, Mr. Arola.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Before you tonight, I am looking to go out for an RFP for a clubhouse operator for next season. As you guys know, Joanne has retired at the golf course. Last Sunday was her last day at the Muni after 26 years, so thank you to her for those years of service to the city. And now we have a chance to go out for an RFP for a new operator for next year. I have a tentative timeline in the agreement there, looking to get this out immediately after council approval, and then do a roughly 30 days advertising, and then bring it back, hopefully sometime in November for negotiations and whatnot, for final approval in December. And so we'll have somebody on board early enough to start the process of, if they have to secure a liquor license or alcohol server training and food training and different things like that. So we'll have all winter to kind of work through that stuff. But yeah, the copy of the RFP is in your packet, and just looking for approval to go out for advertising for that.
Okay, before I ask for a motion, again, I want to speak for the council and everyone just to thank Joanne for the great job she did all those years. She made it special. She had personal touch around that clubhouse, and it really meant a lot to a lot of people. So with that, wishes of the council.
Make the motion to approve and go out for bids for the service.
Motion by Councilor Bayless,
Support.
support by Councilor Hoffman-Sockman. Any other discussion for Nick? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
This time, we'll move on to City Administrator, Mr. Brzezinski, for Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council. 2 items from my office this evening. You may notice that Steve Esty, our police chief, is not here this evening. He is with our, Beyond the Yellow Ribbon and our veterans groups this evening, talking a little bit about our local sales tax. So that's why he's absent tonight, so I want to let you know that. But also, in conjunction with that, I want to remind people that the election is coming up, the local sales tax is on the referendum, so I want to make sure that people remember to get out and vote, and I think early voting has already started, so that's available here at City Hall. So, thank you.
Okay. This time, we'll move on to City Attorney, Mr. Borley.
Mayor, members of the council, within your packet, and this was the late ad, is a proposed resolution waiving the Planning Commission's review of the city of Hibbing purchasing real property here in Hibbing, Minnesota. Further down in the agenda, there's a matter under Ms. Olivante about purchasing a parcel of land south of the Jasper building, that'd be south of Fifth Avenue West, for an amount of $26,900. That's what this resolution that I have for you tonight is to consider, is to waive the Planning Commission reviewing that. I think you recall in closed session last time, we discussed the potential purchase of that. And per what Ms. Olivanti has on the agenda, she was successful in getting it through a tax forfeit purchase for that amount. So this resolution is simply not so that the matter wouldn't refer to the planning commission, but instead the council is waiving that so that the city can move ahead immediately and execute that purchase.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Hearing what Mr. Borland had to say, wishes of the council.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Counselor Schweberger,
Support.
support by Counselor Bayless. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Mayor.
We'll move on, bids and quotes. First up, we got Finance Director, Treasurer, Ms. Mullner.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. For item A, I have the approval of a proposal for a long-term financial plan from ABDO in the amount of $23,000. The proposal is within your packet this evening, and it would create an all-inclusive working document and a tool to help me bring forward financial decisions for the city. It would include all of our funds, whether that be special revenue funds, debt service funds, enterprise funds. They would look at all the fund balances, bring it all together, and then give us, they also look at our tax base and population growth, all those aspects of the city to determine practices for the future. So I'm asking if City Council will approve that and allow me to create this tool so I can use it in the future to make financial decisions.
Very good. Hearing what Ms. Muller had to say regarding financial plan from Abdu, wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Counselor Hoffman Sockman, support.
Support.
Support by Counselor Whitney. Any discussions? Additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Sheena.
Thank you.
Mr. Rolla, you're up again.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, I'm looking for your approval to purchase it will be 10 conference room tables and 20 chairs to go along with it. This would be for the second floor conference room, and we're starting to use it more for staff meetings and your joint meetings that you guys have. We want to get something in there again that's hexagon shaped, so we can all see each other and talk to each other instead of looking down a table, and just be a lot more conducive for meetings in there. The amount in that is $18,047.43, and looking for your approval to Innovative Office Solutions.
Okay, hearing what Mr. Rolla had to say regarding new conference table, wishes of the council.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Counselor Bayless.
Support.
Support by Counselor Schweberger. Any discussion? Nick, how many chairs do we have there now? So it seems like it's always tight. We're always 2 chairs short. So it looks like you're going to 20 right now?
Right, correct. Right now, we're at roughly 16,
Okay.
so.
It'll give us more capacity.
give us
That's
more
the question. I
capacity,
couldn't
yeah.
remember how many were down there. All right, any other discussion?
Just a thank you, because those chairs are getting a little dangerous down there, so it's appreciated.
Yeah, I fell out of one.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're due for an upgrade.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Mr. Krasinski, you'll handle, or,
I'll handle
okay.
that. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm here bringing forward something from Chief Esty. The first one, I know that you guys discussed this at the workshop on the 2nd. Because we're really out of compliance on certain things in our tech departments, and we all, we're aware of that. We're looking for 2 different things. One would be the Megafy mobile kits that will go in the cars, and then 15 iPhones from FirstNet. So they're kind of like a cradle, but they have, when I mean a cradle, it's an internet, it's an adapter, so you have your Wi-Fi and all that in there. But these are called Megafis, and so they'll each have their own phone, and then it'll be in the Megafy in the car, so they'll always have the internet access. The amount for that to FirstNet would be $22,533.85. This will give us a really good example of being able to have multi-factor with their phones, so they won't be using their own phones. Everything will be on a city phone.
Okay, and this is for the squads you're talking about?
Yep, they're for the squads, and it's just a huge security that we need to have.
Okay, hearing what Ms. Sepula had to say, wishes of the council.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Counselor Whitney.
Support.
Support by Counselor Hoffman Sockman. Any other discussion? What's the time frame turnaround on,
They'll be ordered right away and then get them into the cars as quickly as possible. Yeah.
hearing no other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
B.
Sure, thank you, Mayor and Council. So the second one also goes along with that he spoke about at the last working session. It's to approve 20 G-Tech computers with Havas docking stations. They'd be from Insight in the amount of $54,240. This is a state bid. You can't get them cheaper. They did come down about $12,000 for these. And this would be where each vehicle would have their own computer. They can take them out. And again, they'll go right hand in hand with the phones, so all the multi-factor will go right with that.
Okay. Hearing what Ms. Shepla had to say again regarding purchasing from Insight the GTAC computers.
Motion
Wish of the
approved.
council. Motion approved by Councilor Bayless.
Support.
Support by Councilor Schweberger. Any other discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Councilor.
go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, Gina, is this in the 2024 budget?
It is not in the 2024 budget, but we just received our police aid, and it actually came in over what we had budgeted, approximately $80,000. So I had asked Steve, I know he had spoke at the workshop meeting about looking at using the general funds, undesignated funds, but I did speak with him after that came in about if we could do a budget adjustment to repurpose the additional state aid to cover these purposes.
Good, thank you for the update.
Yes.
I did have one, so
Councilor Bayless.
future replacement plans for stuff like this, are we gonna try and do a few each year, or are we gonna just wait until we need to reload?
Counselor Bayless, yes, correct. And the other thing is, we have some current things that we'll be selling to also offset that. Yeah, but we would like to do, 5 a year, or
So both of these components really work together?
they absolutely
Okay, so
do.
that's why we're going with both at this time.
Right,
All
yep,
right.
Perfect.
yep.
Thank you.
And being in law enforcement, I was shocked that we did not have this with a department our size.
Yeah.
With the two-factor authentication and the security, like, I couldn't believe it, so
Okay.
it's definitely needed.
All right, any other discussion?
Yeah, if I
Yes.
could just let you know too. So our new IT company has really come in and done a deep dive on things like that. And the police department, that's where we need to really beef that up. So, thank you.
All right. No, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Sepulveda. We move on to Public Works Foreman, Mr. Watkins.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Looking for approval to purchase a 480 spare pump for our concertor program. Some of you may know, this is a program we started approximately years ago, and we currently do not have a spare 480 volt. Total cost of that is $20,014, and it would be an item to have as a spare on our shelves, ready to go, rather than contact.
Okay, hearing what Mr. Watkins had to say.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Councilor Bayless. Support by Councilor Schweberger. Jim, question for you. I know that was one of the programs you're working towards, is having backups for everything, so there's no lag time for our residents. If a lift pump, people know, so they understand that's what moves our raw sewage through the city. How many other lift stations do we have that still need a backup?
With this one, actually, none.
None? Okay.
This particular concerted program pump can be programmed to any horsepower from 5.5 to 10 horsepower. So it fits multiple stations instead of having one pump per station,
Okay,
which also reduces our in-house inventory.
very good. Any other questions? Thank you for that answer. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. B, Jim.
Council members. Also looking for approval to purchase and have installed web-based communications for the Mesaba Pines station with electric pump as well, and a total cost of $20,803.94.
Okay, we're looking for purchase to have installed communications for Mesaba Pines. Wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Counselor Hoffman Sockman,
Support.
support by Counselor Whitney. Any other discussion? Yes,
I have a
Counselor.
question, and I probably should have asked this previously, but are all of our pumps interchangeable when we keep them on the shelf? Or is there only one pump goes to this lift station, or how does that work?
With this concerted program, you have a 240-volt pump that can be used for multiple stations. Have a 480 pump that can be used for multiple stations. What we were trying to do since 2017 was to, like I said, reduce our inventory and cost. So we have two pumps that'll fit 9 different stations. Have 8. And some of them are bigger horsepower, 15 horsepower to 30 horsepower. Those cannot be included in this program because of their size. But yes, we do have a pump for each lift station at this point
Good,
with the
thank you.
purchase of this one.
Thank you, appreciate that.
All right, I thank you for that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Mary.
We move on to Ms. Olivanti again.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I'm in front of you to ask you to approve the purchase of parcel ID 140-0290-00619, which is just south of Jasper Engineering on Fifth Avenue for the amount of $26,900 and the applicable fees for a total of $28,811.38. This land was purchased through St. Louis County Public Auction per council action on October 2nd, and we were successful in bidding the minimum amount. So the total includes the recording fees and all of those sorts of things. Finance Director Mullner and myself have been in connection with St. Louis County Land Department to figure out the process and ensure that everything is done smoothly after this approval tonight.
Thank you. So we're looking for approval to purchase parcel south of Jasper. Wishes of the council.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve from Counselor Bayless.
Support.
We have support by Counselor Whitney. Any other discussions for Ms. Olivanti?
Mr.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, thank you for having it come in at that and, you know, riding herd over this, and that's a great deal, so thank you for that.
Absolutely.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Olivanti. We move on to City Administrator, Mr. Krasinski.
Mayor, City Council, thank you. Item on the docket this evening is an agreement with Brunton Architects. Remember, we awarded Brunton Architects the work to do our public safety building. That award, along with that award, comes an actual agreement, which this is. Remember, we used the AIA document to do that. We've had various conversations internally and along with the company, including Mr. Borland from the legal standpoint. We're ready to sign this document and we present that this evening. A couple of things that I'll point out to the City Council and our residents when it comes to fees. So overall fee is 5.75% of the construction costs. And then reimbursables not to exceed $10,000. And then remember, we also did a fixed fee for the feasibility study, space needs analysis. We did some site review on multiple sites. And then we also did some existing building analysis. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer those. Otherwise, a motion to approve that execution of that agreement.
Okay, motion, action, we're looking for support to execute an agreement with Brunton Architects. Wishes of the council.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion by Counselor Bayless,
Support.
support by Counselor Hoffman Sockman. Any other discussions for Mr. Krasinski? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. E.
Mayor, City Council, thank you. There's actually two pieces to this, and I'll take them separately. It's a little bit
All right.
easier to follow. So the first item is awarding Hallberg Engineering the Building Systems Commissioning, and this is for our public safety building. So scope of services would include HVAC systems, automation systems, plumbing, electrical. We did have a lot of internal conversation about it, including our construction manager at risk. And we are ready to recommend to the city council that we award this work to Hallberg Engineering for the amount of $71,500. We did get 2 quotes. This is the lower of the 2.
Okay, so basically what we see here is the 2 different quotes. And you're recommending the 71,500, which was also recommended by a construction manager at risk.
Correct.
Very good. Hearing what Mr. Przinski had to say, wishes of the council.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Councilor Schweberger.
Support.
Support by Councilor Whitney. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Greg.
Okay. The second item that I would like to move on to also concerns our public safety building. And this is for Lurch Bates, and this is to award the building envelope consulting services. Scope would include air, water, thermal barrier controls, et cetera. In addition to that, hopefully we have some recommendations on enhancing that performance when it comes to those various systems. So, again, we're recommending Lurch Bates. A couple of things. We did have a fair amount of conversation about it internally, again, including our construction manager. We did get 2 quotes. This is actually the higher of the 2 quotes. I want to point that out to our city council. And the reason for that basically comes down to our construction manager has used this company before, and for the $1,450 additional dollars, we think having this company on board would be the better of the 2 options. So I would point that out. If you have questions, I'll try to address those questions for you.
Okay, hearing what Mr. Przinski had to say regarding Lurch Bates for exterior envelope, wishes of the council.
I'll make the motion to approve that.
We have a motion from Councilor Bayless. Second?
Support.
Support by Councilor Whitney. Any discussion?
Did they, like, what's their comfort level with this versus the other one? They just work with them more?
Yes, so I think you're referring to our construction manager?
Yes.
Yes, their recommendation is based upon previous working relationships, including many in the proposal. You had a chance to.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you, Greg. We move on to license and permits. Approve the raffle permit application request of Independent School District 701 to hold a raffle on date to be determined. Wishes of the council.
Mr. Mayor, go ahead, John.
Motion approved.
Motion approved by Councilor Schweberger, support by Councilor Huffman Sockman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. 2, approve the raffle permit application request of Blessed Sacrament Church to hold a raffle on Friday, February 7th, 2024 at Assumption Catholic School. Wishes of the council.
Is that the right date?
It says February 7th,
2025.
2024,
Five.
or 25.
Sorry.
Very good. Good catch.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Councilor Bayless.
Support.
Support by Councilor Whitney. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. At this time, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
So moved by Councilor Bayless.
Support.
Support by Councilor Schweberger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.